Doma Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is, right? You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, a little boxing news, right? You know, it's kind of funny. You know, it's two fighters, right? Female legendary fighter Katie Taylor lost over the weekend against Chantel Cameron, right? Lost her undefeated record. I haven't really watched the fight yet. But, you know, it just kind of made me think about, you know, when I think always Katie Taylor and Canelo Alvarez for the men. You know, they always remind me of Richard Pryor. You know, it's just funny. You know, every time I think about Richard Pryor, I just really never want to do a video about it because it's what it is. You know, I would watch Katie Taylor's fights and, you know, she would be regarded as the best fighter, right? On the woman's side. And I'm watching, and every time I see her fight, it's a close fight. I saw a couple of fights where we've been talking about robbery lately. I've seen a couple of fights where it's just, you know, I wouldn't call them robbery, but you could have went the other girl's way. I ain't really Google everything and go back and read the names of the women, but I think one of them was from Sweden, a southpaw, and they should have a rematch or whatever. I'll look it up. But the point is, you know, every time I watch Katie Taylor, she's in a barn burner of a fight, and it's very close all the time. You know, there's no distance, and I was always wondering, why is she the very best fighter, right? Well, I see that she's the, you know, the pound for pound best when it comes to the women. And I'm looking at, like, obviously Clarissa Shields, but I ain't gonna even mention her. But I'm like, you ain't better to me than Savannah Marshall is. When I watch Savannah Marshall and how she's rolling. Now, Katie's had a lot more fights and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, when you watch her, you know, you don't see that she's better than a couple of other ladies. I can't think of the name right now. You know, two right now. A couple of other ones, right? And I'm like, why is she number one? Because I've never seen this is in every fight. You know, I'm thinking either she lost or it was real close, right? And that's the same thing with Canelo Alvarez, right? And the reason why they remind me of Richard Pryor was talking about, you know, we was talking about relationships one time. And he said, you know, hey, you know, with his wife, he said, I'm married. I don't mess around. I don't mess around. He said, if you're smart, that's what you got to say when you're married. I don't mess around. And if you get caught, you got to tell your lady, who you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? And that's how I feel about Canelo. And that's how I feel about Katie Taylor. It's like, why, y'all the best? Like, so what? Our eyes are not supposed to be in this equation or what? Right? Because I'm looking at Canelo, and he's like supposed to be the very best in all of boxing. And I ain't even seen one division where he's the very best. He wasn't the very best at 154 pounds when he was there. He wasn't the very best at 160 when he was there. He ain't the very best at 168 right now, even though he's supposed to be undisputed. But WBC gave him a title instead of letting him fight for it, right? Because it would have been against David Benavidez, so we ain't doing that. He ain't going to fight David Morrell, who's his mandatory for the WBA. So he's not better than those either. And we do have to talk about 175 because that's what Bivol is. And then the other monster would better be of. And matter of fact, a Mexican guy that can beat him too with Gilberto Ramirez. So where's Canelo the best ever? 154, but it was both of the Charlos and Demetrius Andrade. He ain't better than them because he would have proved it by now. 160, it was Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo and Golovkin. And we know what happened with those three fights. Canelo won that last one, but that second one was a draw, and the first one, Golovkin won, and we all know it, right? So he wasn't really better, categorically better than Golovkin either in that division. You see what I'm saying? And so, like I said, 168, 175, we don't got to discuss. So he shouldn't have been the best in all of boxing under those circumstances. And neither should Katie Taylor either. You know what I'm saying? Not that hopefully she rematches this girl. I'm going to go check the fight out and see what happens. Maybe I'll talk a little bit something else. But I never really viewed her as, damn, why they keep calling her the best? Something got to be wrong with my eyes. Like Richard Pryor said, who you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes? And I know damn well my eyes ain't lying. Neither one of them was never the very best. You know, they're good, but the very best, just nope. Doma Sport Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.